You have heard me talk a lot about always carry, always carry. I mean, I know people get tired of it. It's real simple. Always carry. I get this email. It's a little bit long, but I think it's worthwhile. I think you will appreciate it. From Randy. He says, I expect something like this happens to people all over the country every day, but we never hear the stories. I hope you'll share this one. He says, but please, not my name. Not a problem. Got it. Over the years, you've taught that we must always carry. Early this morning, this is just a day or two ago. Early this morning, I got up to take my 16-year-old daughter to church. No, this is this morning. Early this morning, I got up to take my 16-year-old daughter to church for a girls' outing. It was just a short trip to church, nothing special. I jumped out of bed, no shower, threw on some clothes, and was ready to go. I was just going to run her over to the church and come back to bed. I looked at the EDC gear, everyday carry for those who don't know, and initially decided not to carry. Something inside of me said, the one time you need it is the one time you won't have it. I picked up the EDC, my wallet, keys, flashlight, XDS, and spare magazine. When I got in the Jeep, I realized it was thirsty. As we stopped, pumped gas, and I got back in. I've never been vigilant about locking the doors on my car. Lesson learned. As I was putting my seatbelt on, I caught a glimpse of someone walking to my Jeep. Before I realized it, a strange man was in my back seat. I firmly believe the body will never go where the mind has not already been, so I rehearsed scenarios in my mind. I actually had started thinking this was kind of a sick practice until now. Tom, it was surreal. Everything really did slow down. I remember turning as he opened the back door. I remember drawing my weapon from my coat pocket. I remember extending my right arm, pushing my pistol into his nose as I pushed my daughter away. I remember his face over the sight. I remember how small my Grand Cherokee seemed. And I remember deliberately moving my index finger from along the slide to lightly touching the trigger. It was all reaction, no thought. I don't know if this guy made an innocent mistake or if he meant evil. I don't know if my assertive tone showed him we weren't sheep or what, or if he was afraid of the 9mm steel tube at the end of his nose. But I do know he got the hell out of my Jeep and ran. I know I will never doubt picking up the EDC again. I don't know what it would have been if I weren't prepared, but I know my daughter and I are safe. He says, start to finish, I expect this event took less than 30 seconds. I honestly believe that if this had lasted a second longer, this man would have been dead in my back seat, regardless of his intentions. It took the sheriff almost 5 minutes to arrive, and they came in running lights and siren. I'm glad for the law enforcement community. I love and respect them, but they are not going to be there when you need them. It's simply impossible. We must be prepared to protect ourselves and our family. Randy, thank you so much for that. Let's see. Let's start going through the learning points here. I'm not going far. Why would I need my gun? It's highly unlikely. You know what? It's highly unlikely you're going to need it at any given time. Heck, I've heard people say, well, I'm not going far. I'm not going to put on my seatbelt. Are you kidding me? I trust you wouldn't do that. You understand that the crazy loon texting and driving can take you out, 100 feet from your driveway. But that crazy loon can also cause you to need your firearm, or a different crazy loon. I'll have to tell one on myself here. Getting in the car, he didn't lock the door. I'm a door locker, but I had been slow to lock doors. No more. I was actually in Prescott, Arizona a year or two ago, got in my rental car, and I was starting to punch in the GPS where I needed to drive to. And I heard I'm parked on the street in downtown Prescott, and I hear my passenger side door open, and I look over, and a woman has gotten into my car. I had no situational awareness. I had my head down punching stuff into a GPS, and I had not locked the car door when I got in. She was trying to go to a car next to mine, and she just made a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. She got out. But I thought, yeah, but what if it hadn't been that? I was completely in condition white, absolutely unaware of what was going on. So ever since then, the moment I get into a car, I lock the door. I mean, before I put on a seatbelt, before I do anything. Think about the vulnerability you have when you get in and you haven't locked the door. If you've locked the door, you bought time. Let me say that again. When you lock the door, you are buying time. Shields up, windows up. I don't stop at stop signs or anywhere else with windows rolled down. I don't care. Shields up. That's when people can run out, sticks up and in your window. If your windows are rolled up, you have shields. And then think about the reaction time. When Randy says it was surreal, it was like slow motion. Yeah, it is, except that it's not. The reason he was able to react the way he did and as quickly as he did is because he had done that same thing 100 times in his head. I mean, seriously, how many times have you heard me say, sit there in your big easy chair, turn off the TV, and go over scenarios? If this happens, I will do that. If this happens, I will do that. And if I do that and that doesn't work, then what am I going to do? And then that next thing, if that doesn't work, then what am I going to do? The whole run, hide, fight, that's okay. As long as you have the capacity to fight anywhere in there. It may turn out that you have to fight first. It may be that you can run and then you have to fight. Maybe you have to run and then you can hide and then you have to fight. But for those who ran into a bathroom and hid and had no way to fight, they just die. Randy, thank you so much. It gives us all food for thought. I guess I would ask you, have you had any situations where you thought, wow, don't know if that was bad, but I certainly was not plugged in. I could have been a victim. If that person had been the bad guy, I don't think I could have protected myself. And the other question is, are you always carrying? I mean, always? Do you have, if you can't reach out and touch it, it's not available. And that includes in your home. Now, you may want to use one of those little locking, quick opening gun safes in your home. Those are pretty cool and pretty good, but you need to have one available. 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun.